All right, man. So launching. What do you see the biggest challenge that people face when launching products?
Launching a product is putting it up there for sale, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
The biggest challenge that I see happening to people who are trying to launch a product is choosing a launch method.
Hmm.
How? There's so many shiny objects. There's so many do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. None of them, there's no silver bullet necessarily. I mean, they used to be kind of the cheat for reviews and launches by, giving away 1,000 units and getting BSR ranking and a whole bunch of free reviews. But Amazon got smart and the cheaters got shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's back to the old school ways. But there are still many ways. That wasn't the only way. It was just fast and easy. And a lot of people want fast and easy. They're looking for short-term money, not long-term business. And so when we look at launching products, we have to look at it based on where you're at right now in your business. If you're brand new, you got a brand new store, you got brand new products, you don't have a following, you haven't built a customer base, you don't have an email list, you're limited.
Mm-hmm.
You may need to use a snag shout or something along those lines to get it moving, to get some buzz by it. If you're smart, if you're fairly savvy internet marketer, you could use the time between when you decide what product it is. Once you've made that decision, I'm going to get into this niche and here's the product I want to start with. You can use that time during product development and during ordering and manufacturing and everything else and shipping and everything. You can use that time to start building a following.
Hmm.
And then you can use that following to do it. We have students like TJ
Mm-hmm.
who launched his watches that way. He launched that whole watch brand, which is now killing it. And he's followed that model because he's got it down and he's made it really simple that anybody can do it. He's been able to do it with his sport brand, his watch brand, his clothing brand. He just rinse and repeat. Once you got it down, then it's easy to just duplicate it. So that's really it. And he did it starting from zero with nothing.
Yeah.
So if you're a little more experienced and you already have a list, it's time to learn how to use the list. And or find someone who can, and if they can't, then kick your asses and make them do it, or find someone who will.
Yeah.
And that way you can develop a following or fans of your brand and your product sets in that niche, and you can launch more products into that same niche over and over again, and you just continue to expand that fan base. And so you need to choose one way to do it, and do that until you get moving, and then once you've got that down, then you can look at expanding into other areas, and make it happen. But you got to make a choice. A lot of times people either, and I'm guilty. I'll even say I'm guilty. Sometimes it's easy to go, hey, I'm going to do all of them. I'm going to build a fan base, and I'm going to do email marketing, and I'm going to do Facebook ads, and I'm going to drive external traffic, and I'm going to do Instagram, and I'm going to do all these things, and I'm going to launch all at the same time. And I think that we've made that mistake where you do too much,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't do any of them very well. You can't be an expert in everything in your business, so you need to pick the one thing that probably suits your personality the best, and do that.
So, like, if you're good in video, do video. If you're
If
good
you're
at writing, write more.
if you're a creative, then email is still the cheapest and best. So find a way to collect those email addresses either through Facebook or customers or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and do that and create that. If you do really good photos, you're not a great writer, well then start doing some stuff with photos using a medium that's good for photos. Instagram is a perfect example for that. Videos and other content can be on Facebook. Matter of fact, we just did a great podcast with the director of monetization over at Native Commerce that talked about these very things, and it's about getting in there and doing it, and how if you're not strong in some of those areas, there are easy ways that you can get content that people want to consume about your niche or your product set for nothing online, consolidate it into something that's easy to read. That's more of a technical skill. So if you're not the creative, you can go find the creative and then use technology to consolidate it and then push that out into some form of social media
Yeah.
that gets people to come on, because then you start building that list, because people want to consume information. The problem is they don't want to go to 5,000 different places to do it, or how many of us, I open my email every day and I delete 50% or more of my emails
Yeah.
because the titles are garbage, the content doesn't grab my attention.
Yeah.
But it's true in everything, in our advertising too. I get advertising from Walmart, and I get advertising from Amazon, and I get advertising from eBay, and I get advertising. Am I saying that right? I get advertising from so many different places. Any brand I've ever bought from before. All of these places are sending me content all the time.
Yeah.
I delete most of their stuff. So what do? How do we break through the noise? Well, that's a great example. Consolidate information, give people stuff they want, and then in between that, you get what you end up is you gather a list of people, they trust you. It's the same way I launched GDW. It's exactly what I did. I gave people content, I gave them help. I'm sincere about wanting to help them. I give them good information. I don't charge them for the information so that they want to come and see what we have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then every once in a while, we do a trip or a boot camp or something, and that's how I monetize that list. It's exactly the same. You
Yeah.
can do that with a product. That same thing. If you want to follow that for me, I'm comfortable there. I'm not comfortable. I'm not an email guy. Not really. I'm more comfortable with the Facebook marketing.
Yeah.
So that's not my thing. But do I need to do email? Heck, yeah. So I got a partner who happens to be a lot better at that, understands it better than I do, has that down, knows how to format those letters. Anybody who reads anything I do sees I don't give a shit if I misspell. I don't care about punctuation. I'm just going to say, well, I'm going to use common language, everyday language, to speak what my experience is.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not the master of that. It doesn't work well for me.
Yeah.
So you have to choose what's going to work well for your personality type, and then you have to just become good at that. And if you can't, then find someone who is. You can hire a ghostwriter.
Mm-hmm.
You can hire someone, they're all over. You can go to Fiverr and get someone for $50 to write you 10 articles on your subject, sprinkle with keywords, SEO compatible, that you can put out on a blog or in a Facebook group and start pulling people in and creating that list.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about Amazon is they love outside traffic. So
Yeah,
if you
so-
push outside traffic, that's huge.
Yeah, so it just depends on where you're at. I think, is there a place for like a snag shot or something where you do some giveaways? Yeah. It helps move your BSRs. It allows you to do some testing to get your conversion rates where they need to be. It allows you to do some things to get things moving. It helps you to bump it up. So does that work? Yes. Is there a place for pay-per-click? Yeah, but since pay-per-click is 20% of your sales and really only does well and is worth the money after you've got your listing converting well, I'm the opposite. I don't think pay-per-click on day one, unless you know what the hell you're doing, is a good idea. Because everybody I know who doesn't know, especially new people, who doesn't understand search engine optimization, doesn't understand keywords, they end up using pay-per-click to launch and they lose money. So they're not making money on their Amazon store. They're not making money on their sales. They're giving Amazon more money for pay-per-click and they're losing.
Yeah.
An email costs next to nothing. It costs next to nothing to gather that list. To build a list of thousands takes only a month or so. Or, well, it depends how much money you have, but you can do it for free in a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can take that and you can craft an email and send it to all of them at the same time for next to nothing.
Yeah.
So the cost per lead acquisition is near zero.
Yeah.
And then you can email that out and get people to buy your product and accomplish the same thing, but with better results overall. So, there are so many different ways. That's where people get confused, because we got expert A and expert B and expert C and expert D all talking about, what they've done, which is great. But it's not about what they've done. It's about what you've done. The thing is people. Yeah, so people don't have an attention span, and they run around and chase the silver bullet, looking for the one thing that's going to make it all work. It doesn't work that way. You need to figure out your market. You need to figure out your niche. You need to figure out your product. Once you have that stuff done, then you need to figure out how the hell are you going to market it.
Okay.
What are you going to do? We have the outdoor brand, which is just not even an Amazon. It has to be an external marketing deal because it doesn't make sense to use a launch at all. We have other products that we've used zero launch, but we knew the market. We came in, and just with search engine optimization and good listings, we've been able to kill it. So, understanding your market, understanding what's going to work well in that market, understanding your channels that you're selling on, those are all little pieces of the pie that start to come together as you do it. But I'd just choose one thing that fits your personality and do that. And work it until you're successful. Most people fail because they quit.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. It's not easy. It takes work. It takes effort. You have to be in it. If you're not, then this is not for you.
And I like that in the Launching Mastery Training Program, we're going to be helping them figure out, instead of telling them, oh, you need to go do this one, we're going to take that different approach, and we're going to help them figure out which one is best for them, because it's a small class, so they're going to get a lot of personal help in figuring that out.
Yeah, and we're going to look at those different types of launches, and we're not just going to say, hey, the only thing you should do is viral launch with a big giveaway. Nothing against them. They work, right? They work really well in super competitive niches like supplements, but what works even better is building a community of people who are interested in your product and then making them an offer and having them come get it from external traffic. What works better is an email list, segmented email list of your customers that you already have in that niche, and launch new products into that niche to a customer who already has bought from you, that already trusts you and already likes your product. That's more powerful than anything else.
Nice.
Eventually, as your company gets bigger, you'll have more. But what you'll end up doing is hiring people who are better at certain segments for you, just like Native Commerce. We have a director of conversion. They also have people whose job it is to get traffic to the site. Mm-hmm. So we got one team that gets traffic to a site. We got another team that converts the traffic into money.
Yeah.
Got another team that looks for new products and new ideas. I mean, if you look at it, the way that the organization is segmented, each group is responsible for a different segment along the sales funnel. As a small business just starting out, you can't necessarily do that unless you start with millions.
Yeah.
But you want to pick one and get good at it and get it working. And then once you make that, then you can start looking and expanding. What happens is people pick one, they find out it's hard, or they don't like it, or that doesn't fit their personality so well, and then they quit. Instead of doing it, the number one most important job for an e-commerce person is understanding how to get traffic that wants to buy what you have to your product. Finding the product is easy. That's a no-brainer. That's simple. People buy everything. You can sell anything. I think isn't Amazon trying to become the everything store?
Mm-hmm.
You can sell anything. People buy it. There's a market for anything. Cow poop. There's a market for it, right? So there's a market for anything. It's learning. It's going to find where the hell the customers are. Where are those customers? And letting them know, hey, buy my product because it's better, different, newer, faster, stronger, whatever your unique selling proposition is.
Cool.
So, anyway,
awesome.
I think that's it. From a marketing and launch perspective, that's the thing, figuring out what's going to work. And we're going to go into a lot of depth into a lot of areas and talk a lot about, Facebook ads, Instagram, email, the launch products like Snagshot and things like that. So we're going to go over quite a few of those so that people can get a better understanding. But the real thing is, how does it work with a product? How do we find those customers? How do we make that happen? So we'll go into that in a lot more detail in launching.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Ain't not a problem.